There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa. And I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset and Heart program. This program is on two levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Heart program.
Navigating through life without a coach or a guide can be very deceiving, making you come to think that you have achieved the highest or the best you can ever, or you have made the best of decisions. But until you become very intentional and take a good stock of your life, you would not realize that it's a mistake.
Pain helps you to come out of your comfort zone.
The law of intentionality and the fact that learning is a lifelong journey if you want to be significant. Emphasis on significance.
Previously, I used to be very unintentional about the things I do when it comes to my family, my work, my Christian life, and basically everything that I do.
In the pursuit of that growth, there are gaps. There are gaps that we need to conquer. These gaps include the knowledge, perfection, mistake, inspirational, timing, and assumption gap.
And I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
I encourage you all out there who need to live their life to be part of CTL Africa's growth journey.
Please take advantage of this program and your life will never be the same.
Thank you very much, CTL Africa, and continue to impact the world. God bless.
Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, and good day from wherever you are joining us. It is again another Saturday that we join you from the offices and spaces of CTL Africa, where we bring you again the leadership platform. So, those of you joining us, we have the regulars, and I can see some of them already introducing themselves in the comment box. So I am joining you from Geneva, Switzerland, and my name is Sarah Jessie Appiah. I'll be your host for today for this platform. And I can see already Lakwe joining us from Accra, and she is looking forward to an informative session. So if you're joining us, please introduce yourself in the comments so that we know and we will welcome you appropriately. So let's see. Dennis Ahe is also here from Sakumono. Good to join once again, he says. And Kweku Dafo is also joining us from Tema. We have Uzechina M joining from wherever. I don't see his place of location, his location, but he is happy to join us here. And as you know, for the past months, we have been looking at the workplaces, leadership in the workplace, and things to help us really develop our leadership capabilities. This week is no different. We have normally the host for the leadership platform, Sam Aim, who will be our speaker today. For those of you who don't know Sam, I will just read a little bit of his profile so that you get to know him. So just give me a minute while I change my screen, and here we are. Sam Aim, he is the founder and CEO of the Focus Life Group, the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa, which is powering this leadership platform. He is also a lawyer, a banking, finance, and corporate governance professional. He is a John C. Maxwell certified leadership coach and a motivational speaker, as well as a teacher. And I know him very well as a teacher, not a speaker. So, Sam, we really appreciate you for all the teachings that you've been given to us. He is also running the cohort of the Pan-African C-suite of the BCA leadership business across the continent. Sam has nearly 30 years of professional experience as a senior level corporate executive, legal advisory, company secretarial practices, board and corporate governance, and so on and so on. And as he normally says, his mentor John Maxwell says, if you don't know what you're going to share, a long profile will not help you. So this is just a gist of what Sam has really accumulated under his belt over the years. And you all have the link to his profile that you can read more. I don't think you came to listen to his profile, but to listen to what he can impact for us to grow our leadership. So, Sam, before I invite you to come online, I will just go onto the comment side and welcome a few more people who have been able to sign in. So we have Willie Glay. He is also here to learn. Dinam from Winneba, and then Carl Moore from McGill University in Montreal. So welcome all of you, and I will pass on the floor to Sam to join us. Over to you, Sam, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for your commitment to the platform and to CTL and to leadership and all that you do in coaching all the way from Switzerland, supporting us every Saturday. We appreciate you. We thank you so much. And thank you, all of you who have joined us this evening for this leadership platform. Every Saturday, some of you every Saturday are here learning, and you're bringing more people. We appreciate you. Now, as Sarah said, in the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've been discussing leadership at the workplace. And so this evening, we are going to continue, look at another dimension. So I'm going to start to share my screen, and then we will continue. All right. One second. Voila. All right. So, Sarah, let me know if you can see my screen, hopefully. Okay.
Yes, I can.
So,
yeah,
all
perfect.
Right. Thank you so very much. And so this evening, we are looking at leadership imperatives for the changing needs of today's workforce, the people that work for organizations. All of us work for organizations. What are our needs? And how are the needs changing? And how should leaders or leadership respond to these changes? As we say all the time, this is a big subject, but we're only going to share a gist of this, and we are continuing to develop more detailed courses around this that we can share with your teams at your work and so on and so forth. If you reach out to us, we'll be able to come to your teams and share a more detailed presentation. But this evening, we're just going to give you a gist of what is happening around this area, the changes that are going on, and to throw light on some of the actions or the steps, the attitudes, the mindsets that leaders should have around these matters. So let me start with a few ideas or statements from some great leaders who have had to talk about change. And because we are talking about change, it's good to have some understanding of what change looks like. So the first thing is that change is inevitable. and change is constant. This is Benjamin Disraeli. Change is inevitable. There is no way you're going to stop change. Since you were born, you kept changing every day, every minute, every hour. Whether you see it or you don't see it, you are changing. Our world keeps changing. We always say last year is different from this year. We don't know what next year will give us. We having changes politically, economically, socially around us. Emotionally, we are changing all the time. So change is inevitable. So as leaders, one of the core characteristics of leadership is the ability to handle change and actually engineer change, creatively change. So leaders, in the true sense of the word, have to embrace change more than others, because your job is to engineer positive change into the organization. And this is constantly going on. Now, Charles Kettering says the world hates change, yet it is the only thing that has brought progress. In fact, if we did not change from slavery and ban slavery, maybe most of us Black people would still be under slavery. If we did not move and fight for independence, maybe all our lands would still be under the colonial rule. And even since we attained independence, the things we did politically, economically have changed. Economics theories have changed, political theories have changed, and as they change, they bring progress. Medical science has changed a lot to bring progress to us. So change is important, and it is good, and it brings progress. So if as leaders, you have to change things and turn things around, you cannot turn anything around without changing it. And that is why change requires a leader to be able to turn things around. Now, a few more leaders that we can quote from. John Kennedy says, change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. Very often, some of us are holding on to the things that we've done before, and we don't want to change it because that's what we know. We keep staying in our comfort zone and don't want to change. And this is telling us that if you want to hold on to the past, if we were still doing typewriters in my days when I was in the university, it was typewriter. They had a typing pool. Even when I started working, there was a typing pool, and there was one person who is typing everything. Today, there are no typing pools. Everybody has his laptop, or at West, they have a desktop. And even when desktop started in organizations, it's only one or two people who had it. But today, it's common. Everybody has a laptop. That is it. If you look only to the past, you miss the future. You will not get progress. And Winston Churchill says to improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often. So if we want to do better things, we have to change very often. Two more. Bill Clinton, the price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change. So if you don't want to change the way you're doing things and you're holding on to the 100 years, 50 years, 20, in fact, these days, even 5 years is too long, then you know that you are going to pay a high price. And companies that have refused to grow have been extinguished by other companies who adopted the change attitude. Finally, Harold Wilson says, he who rejects change is the architect of decay. The only human institution which rejects progress is in the cemetery. That's very, very interesting one. All right, so change is constant around all of us. And change in the workplace, when I started working in 1992 or so, the way work was done in the office is totally different by the time that I was leaving work in 2016 or 2017, thereabout. When I started working, I had a secretary who would type everything. I would handwrite, and he would type. But today, I don't even need a secretary. The workplace has changed. When I started work, or when we were in school, some of the subjects we studied was typewriting and shorthand. People learned how to write shorthand so that when their bosses are talking, they are able to write quickly. Today, I've never heard of any organization that is or school that is teaching shorthand or typewriting. These things have become basic to us. So the workplace is changing, the way work is done is changing, and professions, the way professions are practiced is changing. As a lawyer, I know that today there are so many contract precedents that are free on the internet, people can download. So if you're a lawyer and you are waiting for somebody to come and pay you to write a contract and charge him, you're wasting your time. Things have changed so fast. And so you have to change. The workplace is changing, and we're going to look at a few things. What are the factors that are driving change today at the workplace? Number one, the mix of workers, of the workforce, has changed dramatically. And those of us born from 1964 to 75, they call us the baby boomers. By next year, 60, if your retirement age is 60, those of us born in 1964 would be going out of the workplace. But we are there now, together with what they call the Generation X, Generation Y, and Generation Z. So this period, leaders have a mix of demographics, people with different experiences, age group, and so on. And sex. In the past, maybe 50 years, the population of women at the workplace was very small. Women leaders in business were very small. Today is different. So if you have an old attitude of, the man is the one who should be leading at the workplace, you're going to find a shock of your life that your next boss is a woman, and you have to give him all the respect so that he can lead you. So things are changing around this place. This change of demographics has a lot of implication for us. And Professor Carmore, who is on the call, the professor from McGill University, Prof, thank you for joining, who has joined, and I'm honored that he was professor of my daughter, one of my daughters. He has written a book called The Generation Y. Why? So, and it's very interesting. I started reading his book. It's very interesting. I find some of the things he's talking about my own children who are in the X, Y, and Z group. Actually, they are Y and Z groups. And when you ask them to do something, they're asking, why? Daddy, why should we do this? Why should we do that? And it gets frustrating. And you're going to have these people in your office as a leader. So you have to get your mind ready. The rapid changes in technology. Recently, AI, top of the game, ChatGPT and the rest. I mean, recently I was supposed to speak on a subject at my Toastmasters club, and then I just type into ChatGPT, please write a speech on this topic. Sure, within a second, I had a beautiful speech. I just had to edit it and put some names on some specific things into it, and it's done. Artificial intelligence is doing a lot of things. So when you are supposed to do some work, write a report or research on something, the olden days when we used to go to law faculty and carry books and pile of books is gone. Physical libraries are fading out. There are some universities that don't have physical libraries anymore. All right. COVID-19 has also disrupted the workplace. And today, in the last few years, we thought that work is a place you go to. Today, we know that work is not a place you go to. Work is what you do, and it doesn't matter where. So coming out of COVID, people are now creating what they call the hybrid work environments, where some people are working from home and some are working in the office. In fact, some people now feel more comfortable. They feel they're more productive staying home. So this has changed. So if you're the boss who want to see the physical being sitting there from 7 to 9 at your workplace before you say they're working, well, that is changing, and people are already fighting organizations that are forcing them to come back to the workplace. Globalization of work. Today, you can work everywhere. I've met a lot of young people who are doing some work for some companies in Canada, some companies in whatever, in the US, in Europe, and they're sitting in Accra. I mean, we had part of the BCA leadership, which is a coaching organization, an African coach organization. I mean, the marketing and the what is it called? The executive assistant of the CEO sits in Accra. The CEO sits in Sierra Leone. Sarah, who is one of the members, sits in Switzerland. I am a facilitator of the Pan-African organization. I sit here, and we do seminars across Africa for everybody. So work is now globalized. You can sit anywhere and work somewhere. So that is changing, and leaders must change. From the COVID, people have realized the importance of health, and it's becoming a big it. People are now seeing that, look, our health is more important. So organizations are beginning to check what is the wellness policies that you have for your organization. All these have implications for organization. The Gartner group did a research around trends at the workplace, and you will have the slide. So if you don't see this, don't worry. I'll quickly run through. And they found out these 9 trends that are happening in the workplace today. This is research as 2023. Okay, so they said they call something the quiet hiring, because the recruitment has become very competitive. People are leaving organizations that they don't feel happy with. So what organizations are doing these days is rather more to recruit from within, train people, redeploy their skills. And that is what is happening now because of the difficulty in acquiring talent, employing people from outside. Also, there is the hybrid flexibility. Is now, at the beginning, it was just senior people who can work from somewhere, and the junior ones go to the workplace. These days, even the frontline guys are all asking for flexible work hours, for flexible tasks. They are even choosing who they want to work with, and so forth. So flexibility is the order of the day. Then there are managers who are switched by leaders who are sandwiched, who are between their top leadership and employees. Now you are the manager, you are managing a group of people all over the world, and your boss is asking results from you. And you are now sandwiched between the boss and the employees. And that is what is happening. You have to get everything before you go to your boss. Then there is a pursuit of non-traditional candidates. That people, the traditional skills of administration, of accounting, of legal, of this, are all changing rapidly because of artificial intelligence and technology. So before you finish your university, you'll find that whatever you learned in the university is outdated, especially if you're a university in this part of the world where change is difficult. All academic institutions find it difficult to change, but the world is going so fast. Now, the pandemic also has made a requirement for healing and wellness as part of sustainable performance. So these days in the workplace, what is your health policy? What is your wellness policy is becoming very important. Organizations are now pushing for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's called DEI. It's important that today in the workplace, we have a variety of people, both at the top, at the board level, at the management level, and this is becoming a rather big, and it's growing. Now, getting personal with employees has also become very big, because these days, unlike the previous days where the office is informal, the DSS and these days is very personal. I remember when I went to the UK to do my MBA, in my class, I was shocked when I saw some students from other countries just calling the professor by his first name. They will call him Yugen. And I mean, I couldn't call him Yugen because my training and my culture is to call him Mr. Kayla. And it was difficult for me to call my professors by their first names. But today, it's getting all over the world. In my former organization, we call our CEO Arnold. And that was it. And he calls me Sam, and we go, and there's no problem. So things are changing. You have to be getting more personal. And many more, as I've said, the Gen Z people and their skill gaps in social skills, because for them these days everybody is on the computer, on the phone, so social skills are diminishing. But this is what we need more at the workplace. So these are some of the trends going on at the workplace, which necessitate a different kind of leadership as you go along. So around this workplace these days, these are some of the keywords you are finding in the workplace: innovation, disruptions, digitization, transformation. This is what is going on today in the workplace. So if you're not innovating, things will be disrupted. And therefore, you need to digitize to be able to transform your organization. This is absolutely very, very important for leaders to understand. All right. So what does it mean? What it means is that those of us in the middle level, as you said, you have your responsibilities are going to change. It's not just about the sales numbers and the sales figures and the bottom line ones and how many. No, you are also going to be able to manage the diversity and the equity and inclusion in the workplace. It's very, very important. So that is changing your work responsibility. Upskilling and digital dexterity is going to be more important than tenure and experience. And again, we call the people we call MBA in the local parlance means Meba Hache. I have been here long, and they stay in the organization and they block people's progress. You're not going to be able to do that these days. If you're not technologically savvy, you are in trouble. And I'm fighting that edge, because some of us who are BBC, we have to fight every day to be able to do even this presentation. I had to send it to Sarah, who has stayed in Europe for 30 years, who has used to clean up some of my PowerPoints for me. It's key to be able to do this. Because employees are scattered all over the place, data collection on our employees is going to expand, and we need to get ready and the systems for it. Smart machines will be our colleagues. Today, you have your iPad, you have your iPhone, you have your all those devices, the POSs and those things. These are things that are going to are driving the workplace today. So you have to know them. People will work for purpose and passion, not just for money. And I'll come to that when we talk about how the needs have changed. Today, people are not just working for money. So if you think you're just paying people more, you'll be shocked that, last week I interviewed somebody for a job at CTL, and he was being paid an amount that I could not pay. So I asked him, but we can't pay you this amount, but why are you leaving this organization? And his response was, honestly, yes, they are paying me good money, but I don't like the strategy and the way they are working in that place. It doesn't jive with my values and my spirit. That is what is happening. So money is good, but today, for a lot of the young people, that is not all. Remote work and life balance is facing us. It has its advantages and disadvantages. Recently we hosted a John C. Maxwell Live to Lead annual conference, which we have hosted in Ghana for the last 6 years, and it was virtual. And several organizations have paid for their teams to join the conference, the leadership conference, very powerful conference. And after the conference, we wanted people to come on the leadership platform to share their learnings. So we targeted some of the senior people, HRs and CFOs and others, inviting them to the platform to share their learnings. To my shock, even the HR people who have nominated their team members to come will tell me, oh, Sam, we couldn't find time to follow the conference throughout. Could you give me some time? Hey, if you can give me access to the videos, then I will listen to them again. A number of them, because the thing was virtual, they switched it on, connected, and they did something else. That is the downside. But today, more people are realizing that they're better off staying home, avoiding traffic, and doing their work at home. So the remote work and life balance, and we are going to see that sometimes maybe sitting home would enable you to take up several challenges. I mean, recently there was a lady who was, and I know a lady who is doing so many things, this. And then all of a sudden, she's doing everything from home. And now she finds that she's overwhelmed by different activities because you can work for 2 or 3 or 4 organizations at the same time. And now the pressure is on. So all that is what is happening with the changes that we've seen. People want more control over their schedules. People want flexibility. Okay, so as leaders, you need to understand. You're going to keep a register for people to come from 8 to 5. And the guy says, look, I can do 3 hours at home and come to work at 9 or 10. And then I can come at 6 o'clock and I finish at 2 because I have to do other things. As a leader, you have to understand this and be flexible. And this last 2, I took from Professor Carmore's book that I've started reading. This age, there's a shift from information is power to transparency is key. In the olden days when we were bosses, there were things we kept to ourselves. The grades, the salary, these things, that this is confidential, that is confidential. You, the boss, you had all the information and you had the power and direct things. Today, all the information is out there and people have it. So your ability to tap into AI, to type into the internet and get the information is open, okay? So this is what is on. There's also the shift from formal education and credentials to contributions. So it's not no more about your titles and the PhDs or how many degrees you have. It's actually a study has shown that companies like Microsoft have downgraded the requirement for education and classification by 70% because there's some skills that you can just go to YouTube and quickly learn them and you don't have to go to any formal school. I had a guy who did our website for us. He never went to any formal school to learn how to design websites. Went on YouTube and he quickly did it for us and so on. All right. So that's the implications of some of these changes. Now, the question is, how is this affecting the workers' needs? Very important. Just a quick 2 quotes for you. This was from a CEO of Microsoft. He says, the world of work is changing rapidly and we need to be prepared to adapt to new rules, skills to stay relevant. Very, very important for us leaders. With the pace of technological change and the shift towards a knowledge-based economy, the skills required to succeed in the workplace are changing at an unprecedented rate. Mark Cuban is an American entrepreneur and one of the richest CEOs in America. So this is what is going on, and this is what leaders need to understand, that we also need to change and adapt. Now, I think most of you on this call will probably have heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, several years ago, Maslow studied the emotional, the psychological, the needs of human beings, a great number of study. And he came out with this scale of needs. It's called the hierarchy of need. And it starts from physiological needs. He says that is the basic. People need food, water, air, and shelter and clothing. That's the basic thing. Okay, as the Bible says, if you have food, clothing, and shelter, and something to cover your skin, that should be okay for you. So this was supposed to be the basic, the fundamental. And as you grow, you move on to what you call the safety needs, personal security, where you are now, having an enclosed door and security gadgets and employment and resources and health and those things. They are the next. If you don't have food, you don't care about your health much. Then there is the next level, which you call love and belonging. Now you have your food enough, you have place to sleep, your safety, you're okay. Then you begin to look for love, you begin to look for a family, you begin to connect with other people. I mean, when we were younger, until your father goes to look for a woman for you, when they know you have reached a certain stage, you never had any relationship with women, and think of it's when you are ready to marry that they go and find a wife for you. Today it's changed. Children at 10, whatever, they are talking to their parents about their boyfriends and girlfriends, and that's what we are going to see. And then from there you have esteem, respect, where now you want status, you want to be given a corporate car and this, and you want to have some big title, some police security, that you'll be respected and you feel a sense of belonging to the community and so on. And you want status recognition and strength and freedom and so on and so forth. And the last level, which is the highest, which according to Maslow, not many people reach there, is self-actualization, which is a continuous self-improvement where you desire to become the most that you can be, your personal growth and development. That this is completely changing today. This Maslow hierarchy of need has been completely turned upside down with today's new workforce, with the young generation that we have. In fact, from day one, they are looking for self-fulfillment, because for most of those people already, their parents are built and food, shelter, clothing is taken for granted. Those that we call in Ghana the Dadaba, or the Nigeria the Ajimbates, those are the people from rich families. And today, a lot of the people from the middle class, the basic things about food and things is not their problem anymore. They were secure, they have police people as their guards and so on and so forth. So from day one, what this young generation is asking for is actually self-actualization, and they are moving on. The basic needs are put behind. In fact, this is another inverted, but here, if you put the self-actualization at the top, that is the biggest circle. That's where they are looking at. That is more important to the new workforce than just the physical need. That's why the money is not just the thing that they want. So you as a leader need to understand this mindset that young people today in the workplace are looking to be involved. They are looking to be recognized at the workplace. And so if you're doing your management meeting and there's only 10 of you who sit in the boardroom and decide, and you come and impose it, people are refusing this kind of approach to leadership and to management. Okay, people don't want to accept. People want to be involved, and that is a key for us, because people want to be part of the vision. They want to be part of the purpose. They want to understand where you are, so that they are recognized that they are part of the organization, not some two people decide and impose it on them. All right. So what should leaders be doing? Now, I think somebody, one leader presented on the leadership platform and showed this slide. I thought it was very interesting. Leaders need to face the change challenges eyeball to eyeball. Okay, like this Maasai man in Kenya who is able to face the lion face to face. Those of us from West Africa, if we see a lion, we'll run away. But the Maasai man in Kenya will not run away. He'll face the lion. The changes that are going on is like the lion that is going to devour us. We need to face them as leaders. We don't have to be like the ostrich, like the man on the left who's put his head in the sand and as if you're not seeing anything. If you do that, you go into extinction. All right. So quickly, the important things that leaders have to bear in mind in this new environment, the strategic imperative for this present day environment, the first big one is building trust from the top to the bottom. John Maxwell will say, trust is the foundation, is the solid rock on which leadership is built. So that trust that you can build with your employees is absolutely important at this day. They have to believe you. You have to be authentic. You have to be open and to them, transparent. That's how you're going to build that trust. Then this is the big one. We need a coaching, not a commanding leadership style. In the past, you can just give orders. Today, it's more dialogue. It's a partnership with the staff. It's a partnership with the team. Guys, this is what I'm thinking of. What do you think about? They have issues. They bring issues. You help them. You ask questions. Believe in them. that they themselves also have answers, which is what coaching is all about. The autonomy of the individual, his ability to think and to create things for himself and to provide answers for himself. Believe in him that way and work with him to bring the best out. That is what leaders need to get. Apart from that, there's adaptation without chaos. Things are changing, so we have to be adapting as we're going. You cannot wait for everything to be perfect. Before COVID, when COVID came, you had to do things. We didn't understand COVID, but people were, you had to, it's like you're eating and you're running at the same time. And leaders need to get the skills to adapt. Even in the chaotic situation, they need to master that. Versatile communication. These days, communication methods have changed, okay? In the past, you write a letter, you have to sign it, it's gone. Today, WhatsApp messages is what we are using to do businesses. There's different methods by which you can communicate. You also have to know at what levels you're communicating by listening actively to the people. It's not about just instructing and directing. No, communication is key. Then fostering the psychological safety of the people, whether it's their health, whether it's their identity, whether people are going through so many issues, and leadership needs to create a safe environment for everybody in that environment, men, women, children, different classes, and so on and so forth, so that people are safe to be able to work. This business where people are shouting on other people and insulting people in their own bosses. I used to work with colleagues whose what is it called, tool in trade is just to shout on people and insult them and make them sad, and then they think that they are teaching them a lesson. No, people will leave. These days, you shout on anybody, he will leave your work for you, okay? Because there's people all over the world, there's work everywhere they can do. Then we need to balance centralized and decentralized controls. It's becoming absolutely critical that leaders need to let go of centralized authority. We have to disperse power. Leadership is not just at the top. Leadership is dispersed throughout the organization, and leaders need to understand that when you have the top job, you are not the only leader in the organization. That is only a position. There are things that you are not strong at. Somebody within the organization is stronger in that area. Leave him to lead there. If you're a leader and you know that interfacing with the media is not your strength, find your communication person, let them interface with the media. So you need to decentralize power and control. All right. And the last thing is creating a culture of accountability, transparency. Now, this is very important in today's workplace. So, as I said, the coaching and not commanding is the greatest skill that leaders would need at this point in time. The implication of this and what leaders should do, just a quick summary here. Leaders need to define and actualize clear purpose and values that align with the team, because people today want to be aligned with the organizational goals. Adapt a flexibility mindset. You need to understand that things are changing. So we need to be flexible, keep the core, but every other thing can change. Let's keep changing. Change is the constant. So you have to be flexible, give people flexible time, flexible work schedules, flexible. People today want to have control over their lives. Embrace the diversity. This requires very high emotional quotient, emotional intelligence, because you have a diverse group of people. I mean, when I was general counsel for the EcoBank group, at the group office, we had people from about 20 African countries. The board, of which I was the secretary, had directors from about 11 odd African countries. And we had a head office was interfacing with people from 40 different countries, including France, China, London, and so on and so forth. Now, when you are dealing with a diverse group like this, a very high emotional intelligence is required. Yes, this week there was an issue where one of the projects that I'm on, one person has been assigned to coordinate with the speaker, and the responses from the speaker was not coming. She's from a different country from the speaker and didn't understand the dynamics and how the speaker's culture respond to things in a very slow manner. And she got, out of the way, sent a blasting email, and later on, the CEO had to come in to try to damage control and to say that, look, Mr. Speaker, this is the culture, Madam, so this is the culture, and try to understand. Emotional intelligence, very, very important in this day. Adopting appropriate technology and changing often is key. That's like giving. Fostering innovation and creativity. We cannot stay with what we used to do. Prioritizing human-centric leadership. Let us understand that humans are not machines. They have feelings, they have relationships. Now, the driver who is working for you is probably a chief in his village. So empathy. Then gone was the day when one of my bosses would say, Sam, if I want to know people's personal problems in this job, I will not do my job. No, people's personal problems come with them to the work. And as a leader, you have to find space to listen to them, to find ways to empathize with them. We have to put a human face to our leadership. It's not just about numbers. It's not about bottom line. It's not about profit alone. It's about the people who are leading. And last not the least, adopt an open source change strategy as against the top-down approach. When all these changes are going on and the organization is changing, we need to have input from all the organization. Everybody from the bottom to the top need to input so that they can buy into the change. So to summarize, that is what I would say. Now, Robin Sharma says change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. All this will sound like a big thing for us, but that is why we are leaders. And that is what we are supposed to do. In the beginning, it's not going to be easy, but if we are able to navigate the changes, we would be successful. All right, so let me give you final words, and then I'll bring Sarah in, and then you come in with your sharing. Please go ahead, share your thoughts, your ideas, your questions, and we will deal with them as we go along. All right, Albert Einstein says, the world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking. Everything is in our mind. It's the mindset. What we came to meet was created by the thinking of the people before us. And what we are creating today is going to be a product of our thinking. And our children are going to find it and they are going to think about it and they are going to say, but I mean, was this done by my daddy? How stupid was he? How could he have done this? Yes, what we see as the most beautiful ideas today, tomorrow will look funny to the next generation. But they are all from our thinking. We need to change our mindsets. All right? Again, it requires a paradigm shift. Okay? I cannot say whether things will change, will get better if we change. What I can say is that they must change if they are to get better. George Lynchensberg. He says, yes, whatever you do, you have to change. Maybe when you change things, they may or may not get well. But if you don't change, you will never get better. And this is a mindset that we need to adapt. All right? And the final one from Seizi Ushiba. It says, those who are skilled in combat do not become angered. Those who are skilled at winning do not become afraid. That's the wise win before the fight, while the ignorant fight to win. So for us to be wise leaders, we need to win the fight in our mind, to change our attitudes, to change our thinking, and to be ready to embrace the new workforce environment and to be able to lead at that level. And that is my presentation, Sarah. And thank you very much for indulging me these minutes.
Thank you, Sam. This is awesome. Thank you so much. So whilst we wait for you to catch your breath, take some water, and I'll look in the comment section to see what comments are coming in and what questions our viewers have for you. So viewers, please put in the comments section your questions, your comments, your insights, because we are here to learn. Thank you so much. So whilst you do that, I can see others have joined us. We have Fleshy Me. It's AC from Bachona, I think. AC Bachana. Okay, welcome. And then Faustina Kumsen says good evening. And then Professor Kalmore says, thanks for your thoughts. Faustina, I have come to learn. Great. Esther Amankwa joining us from Eastern Region. I can see any comments here or questions. Isaac Ayuku Kwashi says, deep insight and revealing. This platform is my second pulpit. Okay, thank you, Isaac. And then Ebenezer Tufo from Abuja has also joined us, and Olivia Okine from the Central Region. Upon Francisca from Dome, and she is learning. Okay, no other questions so far. So whilst I wait for you to bring in your questions and comments, Sam, if you have taken a glass of water and Kofi can put you just next to me, let me shoot off with some questions. So Sam, you did talk about 7 ways that we can really shift, but the 7 is so many. Which one should we start first? Which one should we start with? You gave us 7 because, I mean, it's a lot. And with all that, the changes going on, where can I start as a leader? Do I get myself a coach? Do I start coaching myself? I haven't had any coaching experience. What do I do? What would be your first suggestion?
Sarah, I would say the first starting point is you.
Okay.
As a leader, you have to start from you. Mm-hmm. You see, leaders always want change. They want other people to change, but they don't want to change themselves. That's very, very interesting for me. They want everybody else to change except them. But for this change to be done and effective, it requires the leader to change. And as John Maxwell always says, if you cannot lead yourself, why should others lead you? Others follow you. Okay, so you should be able to, self-leadership is the key, is the first thing. We should lead ourselves. All the 7 things that I talk about, trust, you have to be able to trust yourself to be able to trust other people. You have to be able to adapt yourself to the changes in order to lead others to change. Psychological safety. If you're not emotionally yourself stable, that's the first element of the emotional intelligence framework. You have to be able to know yourself and lead yourself and accept your emotions to be able to lead others in psychological safety. So, Sarah, that's what I can say to your question. It has to start from me, okay? The change begins with me. Transformation begins with me. If you understand it that way, that transformation that we are talking about begins with me, then we'll be able to influence others into that direction.
Okay, but it starts with me. I get it, Sam. That is really essential. However, in our educational system, all this that you are saying, they're quite new. and there's no school that is teaching this, no courses. How do I go about it? I mean, I am the CEO. My employees, I am leading them. They don't know about all these things. How do I learn? How do I change myself?
Well, so from there, by the way, these days, some schools that are teaching, even in our parts of the world, there are some schools that are teaching at the business school in the new leadership programs that they are doing. So that's fine. But I get you. By and large, the idea of the leadership is not taught in our schools. So you go and study law, you go into a law firm, you go and study medicine, you go into become a doctor, and then they rise you to become a medical director or whatever, and then you'd have no idea about leadership. So we need to begin to learn this, one, either on our own, and two, we will need a coach also. Every leader needs a coach. We talk about coaching as one of the imperative that leaders need to adopt a coaching approach. But before you can adopt that coaching approach, you have yourself have to be coached. So you have to have a coach who would help you navigate through this. And that's one of the things we do at the Center for Transformational Leadership and BCA Leadership, is we're trying to develop the culture of coaching within from the top to the level. The BCA cohort that I co-facilitate with two others from Kenya from Kenya, we focus on the C-suite and we provide coaching facilities for them. So coaching is one of the tools that you can use to help you to grow and to help others to grow.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So I have to get myself a coach. Would you be my coach? Anyway.
Sarah, you are my coach. You are my coach.
I'm just telling you.
Coach, so, yeah.
So I'm looking through the comments to see whether there are any questions. And
Okay.
Aram has given, I think, a comment saying, awesome insights, Uncle Sam. Can we look at contemporary leadership as providing partnership and direction simultaneously? That's one question. Let me see whether there are any other questions. So if you can note that, Sam. Well, I'm looking to see Olivia Okine say, many thanks, Sam, for your update shared on leadership in our current times for a cross-generational value for both young and old. Okay. And then CTL Africa is for us African. Let's share the link to the great leadership skills. Thank you. Okay, so we have one question from Aram. So if you put that question up, thank you.
Yes, so that's why, Aram, that's why I highlighted coaching instead of commanding approach to leadership. Coaching is a partnership, it's conversation, it's thought-provoking conversation, creative conversation between the coach and, if you like, the coachee. Now, when the boss is leading by coaching, the boss is partnering with the employee, with the subordinate, partnering to bring the best out of the person, working on the followers or the team members person so that they can evolve and grow to a point where they can do things for themselves. Coaching requires that you believe in the person you're coaching. Okay, we have a situation where leaders start off by disbelief, mistrust. They don't trust the employees, so they have to put systems in place. By my nature, I trust before I mistrust. Okay, and I'm the opposite of my wife. She will mistrust before she trusts you. So I start off by trusting, and leaders have to trust the intelligence of their people. They have to trust the competence of their people. And where they're not doing well, then you come in, have a conversation. It's not giving commands. It's not immediately sending out queries. It's have a conversation and understand. Jack, that's it. these days you're not quite punctual, you're not coming to work early. I've observed in the last 3-4 weeks that you sometimes come early. Let's talk. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And then, as they go, you ask questions. It's questions, not answers. The leader doesn't have all the answers. Ask the questions. And that's the coaching approach. The more intelligent questions you ask, the more creative answers will come. And the person will now himself begin the growth and the change process. So you're right. It's about partnership and direction at the same time. But here you are not just going to give command, but you are gently, through a conversation, through trust, getting the leader, the team member, into the place that you want them to be.
Okay.
All right. So Aram, I hope that helps.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam, for that. So I hear you that you co-create. It's something that is dynamic. It's dynamic co-creation with the people that you lead. And even as you do so, you yourself also learn from them. So it's a three-way. I mean, you have something that you bring, the other person also has something, and you create something new. So that is the creativity also, and innovation that you were talking about. Great.
Absolutely. And it also underscores the law of synergy, where 1 + 1 is more than 2. So that once you have one idea, you interact with your co-worker or your partner or your colleague or your subordinate or even your boss. Once you exchange ideas that way, the two ideas will come up with a better idea. So that is what co-creation is all about. And that is what we need in the new work environment.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Sam. Let me see whether there are any more contributions. I see Lakwe bringing something up. Say, I think it would be great to know how employees could adapt to these changes and be able to bring value to their organizations amidst the growing flexibility we are adopting. Okay. And Aram says, thank you for the clarification. Great. I don't see any more questions or comments. I don't know whether Kofi is on the call so that we could just bring in the growth journey. Are you still running the growth journey as well as the 21 laws?
Yes,
Sam?
maybe I should talk briefly about
that. Thank you.
that. Ladies and gentlemen, as we've been announcing, we've been running this program. Lakwe, who just shared a thought, has gone through this program. Aram has gone through this program, the growth journey. Currently, we take only 15 people, so we had more than 15, and there are spaces. So we are creating another cohort, and we have, I think, 3 or 4 more places to complete. So if you have somebody who would think will benefit from the growth journey, please do not hesitate to bring them on board. We're also launching in the next 2 weeks the laws of leadership, the leadership mindset and heart set, where we are going to take some of these ideas into a much more detailed level and share with you the laws of leadership that you need to observe, because laws are like, they are laws. If you break them, you're breaking yourself. It's just like the law of gravity. Whether you know it or you don't know it, whether you believe it or you don't believe it, you break it and it will break you. And that's what's happening. A lot of us don't know the laws around leadership. And so we are leading ignorantly and things are not getting well and we are wondering why. So we're going to help you through that. And so check our social media pages, our website for the details and register. I think Kofi's gotten off, so we can, if there's no more questions, I just want to thank everybody for staying with us and want to encourage you that the workplace is changing. Whether you're an employee or you're the boss or you're the owner of the business, you cannot stay the same. You have to continually change. and we have to be abreast with the changing environment and be able to adapt our leadership style. And when we're talking leadership, as you know, on this platform, we are not talking just about the one who is at the top. We've said umpteen times on this platform that all of us are leaders in some way. So this is for all of us, wherever you are, at whatever level, you can lead your organization. So on that note, I want to thank everybody, and thank you, Sarah, for facilitating for
Great.
us.
Yes. And thank you, Sam. And this has been, again, the Leadership Platform. You will find today's recording. I think it will be posted on the site of the CTL Africa the Leadership Platform, so you can access it, as well as the PowerPoint presentation that Sam shared today. So once again, thank you. We appreciate you joining us every Saturday to learn, to share, and to be with us. We don't take it for granted. And we say thank you until next week, where we bring you another leadership lesson. It is goodbye from the Leadership Platform. God bless you all. Bye-bye.